My name is Eric Nilsson. I am from the United States and I have been in Beijing for about 9 years. I'd never originally planned or even thought about coming to China until a journalism opportunity presented itself, and I thought I'd do my year in China, and then I thought after that, well, I'm not quite done, I'll do another year, and as I said, that's about 9 years ago at this point. During my time working as a journalist in Beijing, I've covered several different beats: rural poverty, social issues, civil society, natural disasters. I went to the Sichuan quake zone 15 times and released a book about the quake with several colleagues. The way that Step Up was born actually was the original volunteer group that we formed to work in Sichuan. Over time morphed from sending volunteers there to do things to bringing headmasters from the poorest rural communities throughout China to Beijing for training. And when I was there, I was speaking with several of these headmasters, and one of them said he was unhappy with this situation at their school because they didn't have electricity. And the school was too remote to connect to the fossil fuel grid, so they needed a solar panel. And they said a solar panel would cost about $4,000. I thought to myself, well, 4,000 yuan. And I thought to myself, 4,000 yuan is a lot of money, but it isn't. So I said, okay, I'll buy you a solar panel. Well, it turns out they were 5,000 yuan each, and they required two. So, to make sure that these solar panels were installed as they should be, I traveled to this community, which is in the rural hinterland outside of Yushu, about 8 to 12 hours by car depending on road conditions. The roads are not very good. Installed the solar panels myself, actually with the kids helped. And once the lights went on, I figured it was time to go home. And this was meant to be a one-off, but when I was out there, I came to really realize that there were a lot of great needs in the area. A long time we focused on a lot of infrastructure. We've been delivering solar panels to schools, computers, building libraries, providing also basic necessities like clothes, study aid, medicine, these sorts of things. We're hoping to shift also to do more to help the people with disabilities in these nomadic areas, because they're extremely difficult areas, I think, to live with a disability. And around the end of this week, then, we will have a girl who has a very severe cleft palate coming from Chumalai County to Beijing, where we will provide surgery for her. But, we received her request at a time when we also received another request from a girl who has a severe leg problem that causes her mobility issues. And unfortunately at this time, her request, the request of the girl with the leg for surgery, is far out of our budget. We're not a large group by any means, and many of the donations, perhaps a majority still, come out of our own pockets for the work that we do. We have about 5 really hardcore people and a peripheral group of 20 to 40 fairly regular volunteers who pitch in on a fairly regular basis. And then, of course, beyond that, dozens more people who donate or help in whatever way. Maybe they just volunteer once. The truth is that while I think, this is certainly one of the very most important things that I've done with my life, it ultimately becomes priority C because I have a family that will always come first. I have a job to which I'm also very dedicated. And so, with what little time is left and energy is left, that generally is what is devoted to step up. What sacrifices the most generally is sleep. But I think one of the things, and part of the idea behind the entire name Step Up, isn't even that we really, of course we want people to help these kids, but what we would hope is that people would find comparable situations in the world, places where things are not as they should be, and take it into their own hands, essentially, to do something about it. There's that old saying, I always wondered why somebody didn't do something about that, and then I realized I'm somebody. I would hope very much that what we're doing could inspire people to join or support Step Up, or go out and start their own sort of project that is very much like Step Up.